What's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here with my guy, Chris Ruffolo, as we continue to cook up and break down some of this WNBA action. Welcome to the WNBA Layup session. We're out of the All-Star break, man, and we got a huge card here today on a Tuesday. 5 games, man. I'm ready to break it down, let you guys know my thoughts, my opinions, and how I see tonight's action shaping out. I think it's a fairly tough card, to be honest. And you'll hear that as I break down the card, but I'm glad to have the WNBA back, man. I'm glad to have it back. 5 games that are tough are way better than no games whatsoever. So I'm ready to break it down. Chris, my man, glad to see you. How are you doing today?
Doing well, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be back here with you. We took a little bit of time off from layup sessions. We were kind of inching towards the All-Star break, but we're back. We're going to hit it harder than ever, as we head down the stretch. And like you said, today is a very tough card. You really have to dissect it and just sort of, I don't want to say use your brain, but just like sort of just, go a little bit deeper with it. And we're going to be talking about it. So ready to break down the card and figure out if there's going to be any value spots to find.
Let's do it, my man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We start our day in Washington, where the Mystics are 3.5-point home favorites over the Los Angeles Sparks. Total 167.5. How you feeling here in our first game of the day?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Mystics here. Now, whether that's laying the points or just taking them outright on the money line, paying up a little bit here, it's buyer beware. You make your own choice. But the thing for me in this game is that the Mystics have just been a much better team at home. It is a bit of a revenge spot, bounce back revenge spot at home. And I think that the Mystics can bounce back here. You got to look at some of the teams they've beaten at home. They beat the Lynx at home. They beat the Aces at home. Now, granted, yes, like I said, a lot of those have been close games, but I just think that the Mystics get their revenge here. The Sparks, they're still a team that's playing a little bit better than they have been early on in the year. They entered the All-Star break, I believe, on back-to-back wins, but I still think this is one of the more underwhelming teams in the WNBA this season. So I'll side with the Mystics in this one.
Fair enough. I'm going to agree with you. A lot of people call me a Mystics hater. I understand why. I don't bet this team often. But one thing I do love doing, especially in hoops, if you watch the jam session and or the layup session, is in basketball, I attack specific spots and specific situations. In this game, while it doesn't fit it perfectly, it kind of falls into that spot here for the Washington Mystics. That spot is the bounce back game at home that also happens to be a quick revenge game. I love playing that spot in hoops. These two teams played the last game they played before the All-Star break. And in that game, the Sparks put an ass whooping on the Mystics. Final score was 99-80 in LA. Now coming back to Washington here in this one, I believe we see Washington over a bucket favorite in this game for a good reason. It's just a play on the spot, just a play on the situation. It's not, the reason I say it doesn't fit it perfectly is because we had the week break in between that kind of throws it off a little bit, but it's still fairly quick revenge. And there was still our last game we lost. So I think the Mystics do have that extra motivational factor to come in here and play well tonight. I haven't really been in love with the Sparks, especially not on the road. Give me Washington tonight. Land the points. Keep it rolling, ladies and gentlemen. We keep it rolling. The next game on the card today is the Liberty. New York Liberty, man, the defending champs. They're at home at the crib, laying 11.5 points on the Indiana Fever. Total 163.5. CC, Caitlin Clark, the most, well-known player in this league. She's still dealing with some injuries, and she will not play in this game tonight. The Liberty could be getting one of their best players back tonight in Jonquel Jones. I'm still going to lean towards the Indiana Fever here in this one. We've seen the Fever play well in certain spots and certain situations this season, even without Caitlin Clark. The Liberty, while I do believe fully healthy, they're still the best team in the WNBA. If you were to ask me right here, right now, Jay, who do you think wins the NBA Finals this season? I'm probably going to tell you the Liberty. I just don't like this specific spot. First game out of the All-Star break, laying double digits. It feels It feels like they win this game in my mind by 7 or 8. I think the Fever come in here, keep this game slightly competitive, keep it within the number, do enough to cover the point spread. Is in my mind how I see this game playing out. Tough game, not overly in love with it, but it would be Fever plus the 11.5 for me here in this one. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think I'm with you on this one with the Fever and the points. It's just I still go back to the fact that this is a Fever team that has really watched their depth blossom with the injury to Caitlin Clark. You've seen players like Kelsey Mitchell step up and now lead the team in scoring without Caitlin Clark there. And let's not forget this is a Fever team that went into Minnesota for the Commissioner's Cup final and won the Commissioner's Cup by double digits over a Lynx team that is still undefeated at home in the regular season and just took it to them in that game without Caitlin Clark. So we know the Fever have that potential. Yes, the addition of John Quell Jones is big. The addition of Emma Messiman in free agency, a former Finals MVP for the Liberty, who's going to be joining the team soon. That's a big addition, and the rich get richer there. But 11.5 for a team that is more than capable of being competitive, I think is too many. I think, like you said, Jay, I think if the Liberty win this game, I think they win. I personally think they win it by 8 or 9 if they win it. I think 11.5 is just too many. So I'm going to go with the Fever and the points here.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. First two games of the day, me and Chris are on the same accord. Keep it rolling, see if we can keep that rolling. The next game on the board is the Chicago Sky. They're on the road facing those Lynx who have been dominant at home. No surprise this line is as big as it is. 16.5 point home favorites for the Lynx, a team with the best record in the WNBA. The Sky have played them tough this season. Is that enough for you, Chris, to grab the points here with the Sky? Or do you think the Lynx continue their home dominance?
Yeah, not without Ariel Atkins for me for the Sky, but I also don't want to lay this number with the Lynx as good as the Lynx have been at home. If this line hovered around 11.5, 12, where it was right out of the All-Star break, I'd probably be on the Lynx here. Because you look, Ariel Atkins, in the game the Sky beat the Lynx outright, she went off in that game. You look at what happened when Atkins left the game early against the Lynx in the most recent meeting. It was a 2-point game with Atkins in, and then all of a sudden she was ruled out, and then the tide turned in the second half. The Lynx ended up winning by 13. So I can't get there with the Sky, even though Angel Reese is back. But I also wonder if we're going to see a bit of a sluggish performance for the Lynx out of the All-Star break. Maybe we've seen all across social media. These girls were partying in Indiana, and it may take a little bit of time to get their feet back underneath them here. So I'm going to roll with the under 159.5. Like I said, I think it's just going to be a bit of a lower scoring game. I think the totals are set a bit too high for me in this one.
Yes. These girls were partying over the All-Star break. They were in Indy, but according to them, they were in Miami. If you know, you know. If you watched, a couple of streams and things of that nature over the All-Star break, these ladies had some fun over the past week. Makes a game like this, a day like this, tough, in my opinion. A momentum, a situation style better. Fading Minnesota at home isn't fun. It's not fun whatsoever. They have been dominant at home. The thing is, the Sky have kind of been a thorn in their side this season. And I think 16.5 is a big enough number to where I feel comfortable enough, even without Atkins, to lean towards the Chicago Sky plus the points in this one. Angel Reese has played the Lynx extremely tough this year. She's had some of her best games of this season against them. And I think they continue to be a tough play for the Lynx. The Lynx are the better team. They're the second best team in this league as far as I'm concerned, right behind the Liberty. And I'm not mad if anybody has the Lynx above the Liberty right now currently and how this season has played out. I just think this is a case of too many points. And the Sky, remember, we cashed a lot of tickets with the Sky coming down the stretch. Right before the All-Star break. They were dominant ATS. And a lot of it was because they got inflated numbers, kind of how I feel this one is. 16.5 is a lot of points in our back pocket. And I think it's enough for me to want to grab it here with Chicago facing the Lynx. So we'll see how it plays out. We keep it rolling. We got the Dream The Atlanta Dream out on the road facing the Aces of Las Vegas. Aces are favored, 1.5 point home favorites, total 160.5. Another tough game. I will lean in the direction of the Aces. I haven't trusted Atlanta the same way on the road that you can at home. When they play bad teams on the road, they have handled business. But when they have played up in competition or solid teams on the road, you've seen them struggle. Lost to the Fever, lost to the Liberty. I think the Aces in this game speaks volume. I think the Aces get a little better second half of the season. I do think, um, you know, they are going to have a much better second half than they did first half. We'll see what that looks like, what that means, and if that translates into us making money with them, the Aces. But I think in a spot like this tonight at home, knowing what they have to do to get back into a favorable position, I think this is an Aces style spot, and I'm going to lean towards Las Vegas here in this one. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, another spot where I'm leaning towards the under. If I had to pick a side, I might actually take a shot on the Dream here. But it's probably the under is a stronger play just because the Aces are missing Jackie Young, it looks like, or at least she's questionable, leaning towards doubtful for this game. Ryan Howard out for the Atlanta Dream. Maybe not a big loss on the defensive end, but that is a big loss on the perimeter for this team. So for me, I just think that two teams that I don't really trust offensively without some of their better pieces. I know Asia Wilson's going to be there for the Aces, and that's all well and good, but I keep looking at this game and I keep seeing under 160.5. I'd see like 155 to 158. I think it's just a little bit too high for me here. So probably my least favorite game on the board, but I take the under, maybe a lean towards the Dream and the points.
Fair enough. We head to our last and final game of the night. It features my favorite team, my hometown team, the Dallas Wings. They're on the road facing the Storm of Seattle. Seattle's 8.5 point home favorites, total 164.5. What do you think here in this last game of the night?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Wings and the points in this one. I think the Wings are, if I'm looking at a team that I think is going to be able to at least open some eyes and be competitive down the stretch, I think it could be the Dallas Wings. I think this is a team that could easily do what teams like I think it was the Dream last season that snuck in the back door in the last few games of the season to steal the final playoff spot. That could be Dallas here. They've still got some great players. Dejanay Carrington is supposed to be back. And for me, what this boils down to is the fact that the Seattle Storm, even at home, they don't scare me here. This is a team that, yes, they play their best basketball home. We've mentioned that multiple times in the layup session, but just looking at this roster, looking at some of the results and just how up and down this team has been in terms of covering point spreads, they have a tendency at times to also make games a lot harder for themselves than they need to be. And I think that the Dallas Wings could be competitive here. We saw Dallas hit a couple teams down to the wire before the All-Star break. They have a great offense. The defense at times gives me a little bit of a stomach ache, but outside of that, I think that the Wings could keep this one close, maybe within 5 or 6 points, if not give themselves a shot to win it outright. So I'm going to take the Wings and the points in this one.
I'm in agreement. Word for word, bar for bar, really nothing much else to add to that. I like my hometown team tonight. I don't fade Seattle in Seattle all that often, but they haven't been that dominant home team this season that they have been in years past. And I kind of feel like this is a go through the motions, kind of play with their food a little bit. Wings sneak in the back door, if not sneak up on the outright money line. This Wings team is talented, and I do think they have the offense to run with Seattle. Last game on the card tonight, taking my favorite team, my hometown team, the Dallas Wings, plus points, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in, watch this show, watch these episodes, that comment and show us love and support. We appreciate y'all more than y'all know. Of course, we do have premium plays. Those are the plays we love the most, the plays we personally have the most money on. You can find those over at Pickdawgz Premium. There's a link for both in the description below. I've been red hot on my $19 WNBA player of the night this season. I am either 30-13 or 29-13. I got to go double check. I should have double checked right before the show, but it's one of those. We've been dominating this year on that top play in the WNBA, and we're just looking to keep the momentum rolling forward. First night out of the break, not my favorite card tonight, but I do have one play that I am betting pretty heavily. You guys can scoop it up for $19 over at Pickdawgz Premium. Chris, Money Making Tuesday, man. We're out of the All-Star break for baseball. We're out of the All-Star break for the WNBA. What you got going on today?
Yeah, and you nailed it perfectly. I mean, we're headed towards everything full full steam ahead. We still got the second half of the WNBA season. We got baseball, we got football coming up too. So great time to hop on something long term. Make sure you check out Christmas in July, the best time of the year to get a lot of the long term passes at a heavily discounted price. You can pair me up with Jay. We're gonna be making you some money, whether it's baseball, WNBA down the stretch. Gonna make sure I have some more plays in. Right now, it's just my $19 MLB play on the board at the time this video is being recorded, but I'm going to have plenty of plays on the board today, so make sure that you go over Pick Dawgz Premium, check them out. Use that promo code PICK, get 15% off your purchase.
Appreciate y'all more than y'all know, man. Take advantage of Christmas in July. All your favorite handicappers here on the site have their packages and long-term packages significantly discounted. Take advantage of those with everything right on the horizon. Football, basketball, MLB postseason. It's a great time to hop on something long-term and really take advantage of seasonally, yearly low prices. So that's it. That's all, though, ladies and gentlemen. Man, we appreciate y'all more than y'all know. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, watching this show, watching these episodes. Tomorrow's just one game, so I'm not sure if we'll do a layup session or not. We might not. But we'll be back here covering the WNBA for the remainder of the season for y'all. Man, Chris, final words before we get out of here for the day?
Yeah, like you said, one game tomorrow. So if we don't have a layup session, we will be covering it on the morning show. So you can go on there and hear our thoughts on it. But we'll, one way or another, we will have some opinions for you on it.
Yes, we will. Appreciate y'all more than y'all know. We'll see y'all tomorrow. See y'all soon. We out here. Peace.